Alright, good morning everyone. It is actually 4:04 a.m. right now. It's really early, but yeah, I didn't really sleep. I took a while to sleep, to get to sleep, I meant. So yeah, I only got about like maybe 5 hours of sleep. It's not great, so yeah, hopefully I will get a little bit of sleep during the flight. Alright, good morning everyone, and you are joining me here at Brisbane Domestic Airport. There was a little bit of an issue checking in. That's because they need me to collect my luggage over at Cairns and then walk to the international terminal and then check in again, because apparently there is a different security screening, so they cannot do a baggage transfer. So that's what they said. Anyway, yeah, I got myself a mixed berry smoothie here and waiting for the flight to board. It should be about 25 minutes or so. Yeah, so I was told that it's a full flight today, so I cannot select my seat, but fortunately it's an aisle seat and not the middle seat, so that's good. But yeah, I can't remember how long the flight is. Maybe it shows on the boarding pass. And no, it doesn't. So I'll have to look on my phone. Hopefully it shows. About 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah, so not super long. Yeah, so that's all I have for now. Boarding is over at the other side, so I'll have to walk there. It's about like a couple of minutes walk. It's not that big over here, so it's fine. And it seems like there is no delay or anything, so that's good. But yeah, check-in was okay. It was quite busy, and the security was quick, but also a little bit busy. And yeah, so that's all the process is to get to here. So now I'm just waiting for boarding and get to Cairns and do the whole thing again. And then I'll have to wait for about how long would that be? So I arrive at 8:30, flight is 11. So 8, 9, yeah, 2.5 hours transit, which is okay, because Cairns is pretty small anyway, so it wouldn't take too long to do the transit. Yeah, so that is all for now, and I'll probably see you all in Cairns, since I probably won't be doing a lot of vlogging on the plane, given that it's full and I'm on an aisle seat as well. So yeah, I'll talk to you all when I get to Cairns. The seating arrangement is fine for short flights, but the middle seat does get a little claustrophobic when there are people sitting on both sides next to you, and it does feel tight even for a skinny person like me. The aisle or window seat would be the most ideal in my opinion. As you can see, the seat is very basic with a storage compartment right up top for magazines and safety cards, and another storage net on the bottom for personal storage. We were treated to a very good view of the CBD after departure. Unfortunately, I wasn't sitting on the window seat, so I couldn't get a very good shot of the view. Jetstar does have a decent selection on their menu, but some of them are only available on the international routes. I was keen to go for the mac and cheese given I was fairly hungry, but they said that was only available for the international flights, so I chose the vegetarian cup noodles instead. Not too long later, we started our descent into the cool and humid Cairns. On the return leg over at the check-in area, I found out that my original flight that was allegedly cancelled was actually in service and departed, even though I've tried several times communicating with the staff wanting to move my flight back to the earlier one as there was no indication that it was cancelled, but they repeatedly informed me that on the system it shows as cancelled and everyone got moved, which is very unethical of Jetstar. Or maybe they didn't have the proper training or setup on the system, I'm not very sure. If they would have told me that my flight was moved just in case my Narita flight got delayed, that I won't be stranded in Cairns, I would still not be too happy about it, but I would have taken that explanation knowing that they are a budget airline and don't have the best track record for on-time performance. This is one thing that I will not and cannot tolerate as a paying customer. While it worked out in the end, all because my Narita flight got delayed, it shouldn't have been this way, and better communication should have came from several staff that I've communicated with leading up to the flight. Hello, and you are joining me here at Cairns Airport. I am currently at the international terminal. It's pretty quiet. There isn't a lot of shops over here, and my gate is actually just there, and you can see there's like nothing there. So yeah, it's pretty quiet, but it seems like there are quite a few people from my flight that's transiting to the Narita flight. I didn't look at the seat map, so I'm not sure how busy it is. Hopefully it's not too busy. Yeah, the previous flight from Brisbane to Cairns, it got delayed a little bit. I think the baggage wasn't loaded, so they were doing that pretty late. So we departed like 16 minutes after the scheduled time. But yeah, other than that, we arrived a little bit after 8:30, I think, and then it's a short walk to the international terminal, and check-in was very quick. And then the security, there was no line. And then yeah, straight into to this area, and there is a view out to the aircraft, which is sitting right there. Boarding should be starting in about an hour, so it shouldn't be too long. And I'm also getting cooked alive here because it's quite warm. Outside is actually a little bit better, but inside the terminal it's quite warm. Yeah, it's actually very pleasant outside. I think it's about let's see, 24 degrees Celsius outside. It's a little bit wet, but yeah, it's like tropical climate, but a little bit cooler, which is yeah, very pleasant. I wish I could stay a little bit longer, but Anyway, Japan, I mean like Tokyo and Seoul is going to be quite warm as well, especially I think Seoul is going to be in the high 20s. But yeah, the receptionist was telling me yesterday that it's actually monsoon season in Japan right now, so there might be quite a bit of rain, but hopefully not too much during my time there. Since I'll be doing quite a bit of like outdoor activities and everything, so yeah, hopefully it's not too bad. But I've brought ponchos, so if it comes to it, I have something to cover up and not get too wet. But yeah, that's it for now. There's nothing too much going on. I'm a little bit thirsty, so I'll probably go to the shop which is just behind me. Grab a bottle of water, and yeah, boarding should be starting in about, it's like trying to turn on my watch because I turned off the lift to wake thing. The battery seems to be draining a little bit quick, but yeah, it's just after 10:30. Sorry, I mean 9:35 now. Yeah, boarding should be starting at about 10:30 or just before that. So yeah, I'll talk to you all when we get on board the flight. So I went to the store and actually I got a couple of things. So I actually opted for a kombucha. This is the wild berry kombucha. So it's a glass bottle. I hope that I can refill with water after I finish this. And then I got a bag of twisties and a bag of Smith cheese and onion. Given it's a day flight, so I'll probably be awake most of the time. So I'll probably need something to munch on. But I've pre-booked 2 meals. I think one is a mac and cheese, and the other one I cannot remember what it is. But yeah, it's the same for the return flight. They are both the same meal because the other ones doesn't look too suitable for me, and they have only a couple of vegetarian meals. So yeah, those are the ones that I have pre-booked for the flight. Yeah, it's actually quite close to boarding time, I believe. It's almost 10:15 right now, so we should be boarding quite soon. The crew has already gone to the aircraft, I think like 20 minutes ago, so we should be boarding very soon.
Thank you. Go across and turn right.
Welcome on board the Boeing 787. They have 3 rows of business class recliners which has their amenity kit ready on the seat, followed by 3 rows of upfront seats with extra legroom that they do not advertise, but I'll show it to you on the return flight later on. The rest of the cabins are the standard economy class seats except the first row and emergency exits, which are extra legroom seats. The normal economy seats have less legroom, which I believe is due to the thicker seat padding, which for me as a tall person is not exactly good news as they already have a very narrow legroom to start off with. There are individual air vents and reading lights, which is important for some people, but I do tend to find myself on the colder side most of the time, so I just close the vent.
Please listen closely while we take you through the safety requirements for our Boeing 787. Your crew are highly trained to help keep you safe.
As we departed north towards Japan, we were treated to the views of the magnificent Great Barrier Reef, which I have been last year. I went down to see the fragile yet beautiful reefs and wildlife, while also learning more about the impact of global warming have on them. There are IFE screens for each seat, however, you will have to prepay or pay on the screen to get access to the entertainment options, costing $13 for the full flight and have all the movies all you can pay per view. I didn't find the selection to be substantial enough to make me want to pay for the $13. The in-flight map was also not working, showing us that we were on the ground in Narita. Pre-ordered meals got served first. The first meal I got was the mac and cheese, which was fine and tasty, but it's not very large in portion and they don't really get any other variety such as greens or fruits. The second meal was prior to landing and I got the quiche and roll. I didn't find myself being too hungry and it didn't taste as nice as I've hoped. Each meal does come with a complimentary hot drink which was served along with the meal. One week later, I'm back on Terminal 3 Narita, ready to jet back to Australia. The terminal has a very different vibe to the other ones. This one has a minimal industrial look, which I suppose is due to the low budget to house the low-cost carriers. During check-in, I couldn't check in due to the power bank in my hand carry, so the machine wouldn't let me get my boarding pass. However, the ground staff told me to declare as I have no unsafe items, even though it stated that the power bank is one of those. most of the staff there seems to be from other Asian countries, which was surprising given that I would have expected more Japanese staff working on the ground there. Hello again and welcome on board Jetstar 26 to Cairns. I was originally booked for the kind of half window seat at the back. I believe it was row 51 or 52. But I was checking the seat map and the whole row was taken, so I actually changed to the front row. This is row 12. Basically, I did use my finger to measure how much room I have, and I managed to squeeze about 4 fingers. At the back, I was only managed to do about 2 fingers, so it seems that there might be just a slightly more leg room towards the front here, and it's also a mini cabin. So there are about 1, 2, 3. So 3 rows plus 3 seats at my back. So if you want to count, it's basically 3 full rows, which is pretty small. And as long as there are no like kids or anything sitting in this section, then it should be fairly quiet as well. When I was booking this seat, the middle seat was empty, so hopefully it stays that way. And we are actually running late. We departed at, we are supposed to depart at 8:10, and then it got delayed to 5 to 9, I believe. And we started boarding at 8:38. And right now it's 8:52 and I can still see people boarding, so that means we won't be able to depart at 5 to 9, so we will be a little bit late. So I'm not going to be in a rush anyway, since my flight to Brisbane is not going to be for another 4 hours, I think, or 3 hours. So I have plenty of time for transit. Over at Cairns. We should arrive around 5 to 5:30, and then my flight out of Cairns is 9 o'clock. So we have about 3.5 hours of transit, and then going through customs, having to go between terminals and everything might take maybe 45 minutes. So I still have about like just under 3 hours. So there are plenty of time anyway. But yeah, so far things are moving along as quickly as they can. Hopefully they will be out of here pretty soon, and hopefully the middle seat stays clear. And I'm planning to take melatonin as well, so because I woke up at about 4:30 this afternoon, this morning. See, I'm already kind of half asleep here. Yeah, I woke up at about 4:30 this morning to catch the flight here, so I've been awake for a long time now. So hopefully I'll be able to sleep well, but to make sure that I get the maximum amount of sleep, I'll take some melatonin when the meal service starts, and hopefully I'll get a decent 5-6 hours sleep. The flight time is, I believe, about 7 hours, so hopefully we'll get at least like 5 hours. After 9 p.m, we push back for our departure. One thing I have to mention that stands out to me is the work ethics of Japanese. As you can see, the ground staff wave goodbye to each and every flight. They stay there until the plane has left which is very unique and stands testament to the friendliness, service, and culture which I miss the most living this beautiful part of the world, and the reason why I love to travel and widen my perspective of the world. The turnaround time in Narita was fairly short, which explains why my tray table was dirty. I don't think they even cleaned the plane for the turnaround here. The food offering are the exact same thing on or if not most of their routes, which I believe would save them a lot of money by both buying and cooking. But they do offer a decent number of options, although for vegetarians or vegan customers that might be very limited. The only thing would be that your meal won't have much variety, so for example my mac and cheese is only a box of mac and cheese without anything else inside, which can get a little bit boring and unhealthy. Other food service carriers would have added bakery fruits or desserts on top of the main meal, which you can't do unless you buy a separate snack package or sandwiches from their menu.
Hi, very good morning. I've just been woken up by the crew serving drinks. It is 4:15 right now. We still have about just a little bit over an hour before arrival into Cairns. I'm still kind of half asleep. Didn't actually sleep very well. I think I've just fallen asleep not too long ago, so yeah, it's been a bit rough, but breakfast is coming right now, as you can see. So yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit later once I've finished my breakfast. Okay, I'm a little bit more awake now. Business class has actually just have their lights turned on a full 48 minutes before landing. So I guess they have a very good night rest. You might have noticed I've got something else on me. Actually, mid-flight I brought a blanket because I forgot to swap my jacket at the airport because it was quite warm over there, so I didn't think about it. And then yeah, it was very cold, so I asked whether I can just buy a blanket, because on the brochure they have like a set where you can get like a full amenity kit for I think $25. But to be honest, I don't really need all those things. So I asked the crew whether I can just get a blanket, and he said, yeah, I can buy it for $15. So yeah, I got one for $15, and now I have to add another thing to my luggage, which is not ideal because I've already got a lot of things in my luggage. But anyway, it is what it is. At least hopefully I can give it a good use for other things. It's a little bit short, so I don't know what to do with it. I'll think of something, I guess. Anyway, yeah, we have 44 minutes before landing into Cairns. Sorry for the interruption, they were just collecting the rubbish. But anyway, I don't know where I was, but yeah, it's very rough. I have my seat in full recline, and then the last row is actually a crew rest area, and it's still very tough. So I don't know. I mean, the front here, I feel like I do get a little bit more leg room and such, but it is still not the most comfortable sitting, I suppose. The crew is okay. It's not like, you know, they are just very average, and yeah, it's just Jetstar, you know. It gets you where you need to go. Just cannot expect too much. I'll have to have a good think about how to summarize this return flight, and yeah, I'll conclude it once I get to Brisbane and to my hotel. But yeah, it's too early right now and my brain is not working. So one tip for passengers wishing for better legroom is to get the upfront seats just behind business class or extra legroom seats along the emergency exit rows. If you are flying to Cairns, the upfront seats would be the most ideal, as immigration will be painfully slow as there are only 4 machines to process everyone, especially if you have a short transit time. Since Jetstar is a low-cost carrier, there's not a lot of expectations other than bringing you from A to B. Apart from the bad communication in regards to them bumping my domestic flight, it is fine and a good low-cost option to get you to your destination, as long as you watch out for those add-ons, because they will add up very quickly and you could end up paying a similar price as a full-service carrier.